So you must be alone in the room.
No.
Now it's better.
I'm telling you, all of us are at least 3 feet away from the screen, so you can remove the mask.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Mr. Prasad.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see you too.
We haven't
Same here.
we haven't seen each other from February, sir. It's almost a year now.
Actually, it has been really. But good thing we haven't met each other. But people are getting more and more beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all the mask and the covering and staying at home, probably the glow is showing on the skin now.
Correct. So Ashokan is saying, not me. Good morning, President JS and all participants.
He's a regular, sir. We should give him a special award. He has attended all the webinars, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And he has always made a difference. I mean, he has been always proactive in voicing his concerns and stuff like that. So yes, he's one of the more proactive members of the FIXI webinars.
At least the EC member should listen to the webinar, sir.
Yes, it's true. But I don't know what is the level of attendance that we are getting from other fellow members.
No, we get a list. Zakti, we get a list. You can see.
Okay. So you know who are the
you are coming for the Jaipur meeting, na, Zakti?
Chamber meeting?
Jaipur meeting.
Yes, definitely. I'm confirmed. 25th evening.
Okay, right.
25th evening we were going to be there. 26th morning the meeting. It is a good thing. Probably this is the first physical meeting that is happening in a long time. Probably, right? Bangalore.
We had one in Bangalore last month.
Right. But decent attendance.
It should be.
25 plus at least.
25 plus. We are trying for 30 in Jaipur.
That should happen probably. In and around people will come.
Yeah.
Udaipur, Jaipur, Kishangarh, Chittor, these people probably Delhi. Should be able to make it.
Delhi, even people from Bangalore. Ajita Joy is coming.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's a joy.
That's a joy. Good one. She's not afraid of. She's
No.
Sir, ये तो वीरामणि साहब भी आ गए.
अरे वाह.
Yes, sir. I don't know.
The pressure is building up.
For the youngsters to perform.
We will listen.
You can reduce your age by 10 years because you are not a youngster. तो आपका है नहीं अपना Facebook पे भी अपने बेटे की फोटो हटा लो.
बेटी की फोटो हटा दो ये तो youngster में आ जाएंगे सही है but it's okay all the doyens of our trade industry consider themselves also youngsters so it's okay
always
yes. Veeramani being the youngest of the
even Veeramani sir consider himself as youngsters
yes yeah Jai Javani Veeramani
no he has come now he'll be listening
yes.
You must understand one more thing. I understand. I'm also looking at another Zoom or Indo-American Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, okay.
But wow. 10-15 minutes, whatever spare time you have, you must listen to the youngsters, what they say about what they expect from you.
We will see first. Minute it properly, then we will correct it and we will address it, even review of the Zoom meetings.
We'll review.
Wow.
So we are 3 minutes away from 11. Should we?
Sir, just 2 minutes. How many speakers we have? Aditya Rathi has come, sir.
Rathi is there. Sahil Arora. Good morning. Ashwin.
Sumit and Vikas Kothari are left and Sandeep Jalan.
Jalan is there.
Sandeep Jalan has come, sir.
Has come. Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. And what about
so all the speakers to kindly switch on your video and audio, please.
I'll follow Vikas.
So that we can start on time. They're online, but they're yet to switch on the videos.
किसका विकास कोठारी has come क्या?
So, sir,
विकास कोठारी.
Vikas, no, I don't see him.
I'm calling him.
Yeah, Vikas is not there, and
Sumit Gupta.
Sumit Gupta is not there.
So they'll join later. Sab apne kya.
Yeah.
Last में. I'll just call up Vikas. Bell is good.
2002-3, I think. Mr. Veermani.
Veeramani was president in about 2001, I think.
Okay.
Hey, good morning, Deepa.
Good morning to you. How are you today?
Good.
हाँ जी सुमित जी है. हाँ आप कहाँ हो अभी? अच्छा वो वेबिनार में नहीं आ रही क्या? अच्छा, चलो.
Kushru Basha is there.
I'll call you later. ठीक है.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you here, Niranjan. Ashwin sir has logged in twice, and if at all he speaks, echo will be happening, sir. Can you please log out
We'll
in
tell
one
him.
thing?
Let him come online. We'll tell him.
Okay, sir.
Sir, Sumit Gupta is not well, so he'll not be joining, sir.
Oh, I see. Okay. ठीक है.
Vikas Kothari is not phone engage आ रहा है सब. चलो we'll start सब. He can join later.
Right. Should we start then?
We start 11 o'clock हो गया. So we start.
Right. Yeah, Vikas has come.
अच्छा विकास is come.
Bhatti is there. Yeah, I can see is this thing name. I once again request all the speakers to kindly switch on your audio and video both, please. So at least video, not the audio, video. Keep your audios on mute. All of you keep your audios on mute.
But videos तो आने दो sir इनका.
Yeah, video I want. Kindly switch on your video. Mr. Vikas Kothari, kindly switch on your video. Aditya Rathi, Mr. Ashwin Ramaswamy. All right,
We start sir.
we start.
Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to the webinar on issues related to the stone processing industry post COVID-19. So we have a team of young and not so young speakers today. So let's begin with the welcome address by the President.
Good morning, dear members. I welcome you all to this webinar. It is 13th in the series organized by FICCI. In this webinar, we are having all the young entrepreneurs from the processing industry who will offer the views and suggestions for the development of the industry post COVID-19. You are all aware in many of the webinars, we had the senior members, advisory committee members, and experts from the industry who offered their views. Today, we are having the second generation of entrepreneurs who are having vast experience gained by the company, which is a family concern. Some of the entrepreneurs, after attaining very high qualifications in this field, also entered the stone industry. They are very competent in the industry, having very good exposure to the international market, and also using the latest technology, including the software tools in the units. Definitely, the views and suggestions will help the industry to take a positive growth in the coming days. Always, we should try to change to the latest trend, which is always good for the industry. I welcome the following panelists from the stone industry across India and request them to present their views and suggestions. First is Mr. Sahil Arora of Arrow Granites Industries Limited, Mr. Vikas Kothari of Mardwar Stones International Private Limited, Mr. Zakki Chakkiwala, Quality Marble Exports, Udaipur, Mr. Sumit Gupta, Tab India. He'll not be joining today. I just got a call. He's unwell today. Mr. Ashwin Ramaswamy, Aman Granites, Mr. Aditya Rathi, Ravina Granites, and Mr. Sandeep Jalan, Sati Stone Studio Private Limited. Sati is my severest critic in FICCI, so I would like to hear his comments about FICCI. I also welcome Shri R. Veeramani, our founder president, FICCI, and Chairman Capexcel, who has joined us. I'm very happy that at least he'll know the views of, we have always heard Mr. Veeramani many times, But now he'll be hearing for the first time the youngsters, the second generation entrepreneurs. I welcome you all. And now I welcome all the members who are present in this webinar to start the proceedings. Over to Krishna Prasad.
Thank you, President Saab. We'll now start this session with Sahil Arora, who is from Arrow Granite Limited, Hosur, to present his views to begin with. Sahil?
Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me present my views on the current crisis and
Yes.
how it's affecting our industry.
Correct.
So firstly, I would like to start with saying that we are very much in the middle of this pandemic and the war is still on, and we must survive the situation in the long run. However, in the short run, there are many challenges. This short run could last up to 2 years going forward. Some of the challenges that our Indian industry, especially the granite industry, is facing is that ever since the lockdown, there's been a drastic decrease in the labor availability, not only in the factories, but also in the quarries. And speaking of the domestic industry, there was a huge shortage of of labor for unloading and loading at domestic yards, layers to do the work at the sites. So that entire thing has created a big mess for our industry. Especially speaking from the export side, currently we do have plenty of orders, but we don't have enough blocks to complete those orders, and that itself is a huge challenge, is a huge issue that we must face, and it's something that has to be tackled in the short run, immediate short run. So the other challenge that we are facing right now is that there are a lot of container shortages happening right now. A lot of empty containers are still stuck in China, which means that it's taking 30 to 45 days to arrange a single container, where earlier it was very readily available. And this container shortage definitely affects our working capital. As the containers are delayed for dispatch, and most of our payment terms, if not all, are in best cases CAD, and in worst cases DA plus whatever days. That means that our working capital now has been extended further, and we are all feeling a tightness in our working capital. And that doesn't help either, because right now there are a lot of travel restrictions, whether it's government imposed or it's self-imposed. People are not able to come to India. That's a fact. It's probably going to be a fact for the next 6 months or so. And we have to see how that will affect us in the long run. In the long run, even for the domestic market, being in Hosur, our major markets are in Bangalore. People are scared to even travel across the border from Bangalore into Hosur, fearing border issues, fearing home quarantine. Of course, now with the latest directive, that is going away, but still there is this inherent fear of traveling right now. But we know all the issues that are there in this post-lockdown world during the COVID pandemic. And after 2 months of having no sales and having 2 months of reduced sales, now things are beginning to pick up. And I would like to highlight some of the positives that have come out of this current pandemic. The first thing I want to highlight is that the GST refunds have improved drastically post the lockdown. In the previous years, we were all facing huge GST shortages, GST refund shortages. And in the worst part, we were pending refunds for more than 1 year. So more than 12 months of refunds were pending. And during the lockdown, we received a bulk of those GST refunds, which helped us as a company to pay all salaries to all our employees, even during the lockdown period, even during the close down period and the post lockdown period. We were able to pay our salaries on time and in full. So it's only now in the last couple of weeks that we're finding again that the funds are not available with the government. So GST refunds are again becoming an issue, and we have to see how far and how far that goes ahead. The other thing that's been a real positive point for us is that we're going even more digital. One of the first things that we did after reopening was we set up a new video conferencing system. We are in constant conversation with all our customers over video conferencing, using Zoom, using Microsoft Teams, even WhatsApp video, FaceTime. All of these things are part of our daily communication technologies today. We're doing virtual tours of our factory to show people our beautiful showroom to show them all the materials that are available over there. And we're also helping them using these technologies to do virtual inspections, especially for standard materials. And since there's this huge shortage of raw material right now, which has led, of course, to lower production, that means that some of our existing stocks, some of our slow moving stocks, those are moving out very quick. And that virtual inspection is helping us to get rid of those materials. With these tools, what's happening is that not only are we able to enhance the already existing personal relationships that we have with our customers, it's also building a new level of trust. And we're finding that there's less bargaining, less conversations about prices, and more conversation about quality and trust. And some of the comments personally feel that it's okay for our market, then let's go ahead and ship it out. So that's something that we find that this might be helpful for us in the long run. Speaking of the markets are doing fine. The places where there's a lot of government spending, markets are picking up. Just speaking for a couple of markets, the do-it-yourself, the DIY markets in the German industry specifically grew 23% month on month for the quarter that was under lockdown. Home Depot saw a 7% increase in their sales for the quarter where they were locked down. And this is all because government was spending money, was giving money to everyone. And at the same time, they were stuck at home, so their expenses were less. So they had more cash flow available to them, and that they were using to spend on their own home renovation. And that shows us that people are now starting to value value their homes even more, which will help us in the long run. One of the reasons why the Indian granite industry survived the 2008 recession was remodeling or renovation. And I think that's what's going to sustain us in this pandemic time. So those are some of the long-term benefits that I feel that are there from this situation, and it's going to help us in the long. However, be cautious of the industry. The current sales may just be an effect of the pent-up demand that are not and may not reflect the actual long-term demand. And as we may see in the Indian domestic construction sector, new projects have already been delayed. So that means that the flooring and the countertops, which typically come in the first or the second on the second year of the project, and that effect we'll only find out what in 2021 or 22. It's now quite clear that commercial offices, constructions will be dead in the short term. So we have to see how that affects our domestic industry. We are quite positive of the export industry, however, since there is a lot of government spending and things are coming back to normal. So we also hope that the quarries are able to further produce better blocks now. Labor is able to come back. Right. So yeah, so that's my views on the current pandemic, and I hope everyone, we come out of this all healthy and the industry survives well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sahil. I think you not only mentioned the issues, the problems, but you also mentioned several positives out of it, which is very heartening to hear and very nice going forward. Thank you so much. So moving on, I'll request Vikas Kothari from Maradar Granites to present his views. Vikas Kothari. Mr. Vikas, are you there? I don't see him.
I also don't seem to be. Go ahead, sir. Whenever he comes, he can speak later.
Can I request Ashwin Ramaswamy to kindly present his views? Ashwin, switch on your audio. Yeah.
Can everybody hear?
Yes,
Yeah, we can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ashwin Ramasamy, and I'm mainly part of Aman Granites, I'm mainly part of marketing executive. So my views on my company, we are mostly specializing in monuments and thick slabs. We are into thick slabs recently, and so this is the main area of our company. So the positive things which we have benefited, we have seen after the COVID, after the lockdown, is we first point was we suddenly saw an increase in orders from the US market, so which is good for the monument business. And number two is because of this lockdown, most of my customers are telling us that people who went back to their families and living with them together slowly are starting to bring back the traditional family values again. So family value and tradition is slowly starting to come back. So this will my customers feel from next year there might be a little bit increase in the monument division than the cremation part. So there'll be less cremation and more burial in the future in post 2021, 2022, mainly because they move back with their families, the old traditional values where all of them live together, all that is slowly coming into effect right now. And then these were the only two positive parts which I felt in the last 6 months after we started. What we have in the industry right now is we have seen a slight decrease in orders from the German Western European market. And then when we had asked my clients, every week we talk with them, we ask them what's the reason. They tell us this year the expected mortality rate is gone down than the previous years. Because of the lockdown, people are more home, they're safe, and the expected mortality rate is gone down. So we feel the business will go down up to mid 2021 and then only start going back up again. So that is one, we are receiving less orders than expected from the German market. And from the Eastern European market, we have also seen a decrease in demand for ready products. And when we asked them, they have told us because right now with the lockdown, with the uncertainty of how the things are going to go ahead in the future, we are scared to buy ready products. They prefer to buy more slabs and they want to produce by themselves because they're not knowing how the future is going to be from Indian export market or how the import is going to be. We rather buy more slabs and produce by ourselves in our own country. So now in the last 6 months, there has been almost 20 to 30% increase in local production in Eastern Europe than ready products from India. And this was one of the main reasons why we feel the market has gone down also in the Eastern European division. And third point was due to this, most of our companies, all of us depend mostly on the migrant labor issues. Our company, 60% of our company runs with migrant laborers. And now because we are not able to get back labor on time and we are still not able to run our company with full 100% production because monument business is mainly based on labor. And now, so this is a big issue. And now what our company has taken for the plan for the future is to develop skilled labor locally, which is costing us more money and also it's also driven up our production cost by another 5%. And that we feel is still a problem. And we're still not able to run our company with 100% capacity because we are facing labor shortage problems. And the most positive side, what we feel is 2021, after summer of 2021 is when my customers, we all feel the business will start running back up again for us in terms of ready products. Slabs is going fine. We also have seen a growth in slabs. Thick slabs for us also has gone up by 20-25% our sales. But ready product sales have gone down by almost 20-30% in the last 6 months. And these were certain reasons why we feel that it's gone down. And also we are facing a huge shortage of material also. That is also another issue for us because 50% of our material comes from India, another 30% of our material is imported. We are not able to get ships or containers on time. We're not able to get vessels on time. So we're having a further delay of arrival of material into the market, into our company, which is also forcing us to delay the orders. And in turn, the orders are getting cancelled, are being produced locally, and these were certain points which I felt that have changed since the lockdown.
Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you for your views. I understand that markets are not really bad, but they've shifted the focus from fully finished
Very
ornaments to semi-finished,
Yes.
just slabs or something like that. Because raw material issue bogs everybody. And one thing I understood from Sahil was the GST refunds, which we always were, with the government, with Commerce Ministry, we were always pleading, and that seems to have improved a bit.
Yes.
That's really good news.
Part is good for us. Yes.
That was good. Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you so much for your moving on, I'll request Sri Zaki Chakiwala from Quality Marbles, Udaipur, to kindly present his views.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Yes, at the onset, please allow me to express my gratitude to our dynamic president, Shri Ishwinder Singh ji, and our super active General Secretary, Krishna Prasad ji, all the FIXI staff and the IT team for putting this entire webinar together, and mostly for giving me this opportunity to be able to speak among this distinguished list of comrades. I started this business when I was 19. That was 25 years ago. And at that time, yes, I can consider I was one of the youngest amongst the first generation of stone businessmen. Yes. And yes, 25 years down the line, this trade has indeed come a long way, a really long way. In terms of marketing at that time, from posting letters and sending faxes, and now we have WhatsApp businesses and Zoom meetings. So yes, and there always have been teething problems. Our trade has always had some troubles, and the nitty-gritties continue till this day. But and through this platform that FIXI has graced us with, I will try to cover as much as the time allows me to. Now, post-COVID, the demand is there, okay? The demand has come back to some pre-COVID levels as well. The requirement has surged. Factories have been put up. Sardarji has just started his state-of-the-art plant of granite manufacturing and polishing. He's cutting all the exotic colors of Rajasthan. And this has happened during this time. Requirement is there. People need the material now. More so because they have inhibition of most of the countries to continue trading with China. The demand has actually shifted. All those project colors, the major colors that they were coming out of Wuhan, which is 603, 654, all these are the project colors. Now the exact equivalent Indian alternates are being sourced from India now. They're being replaced by Indian stones, but are we being able to make most of the opportunities? Sadly not. Unfortunately not. Why? Because the irony of Make in India, our blocks are being exported freely, without any problem, which is actually also denting our local manufacturing hubs for most of the while. And in turn, import of blocks are banned. Now, this is a very paradoxical joke, which I'm not being able to understand when we talk of value addition, that our raw materials in a lesser amount is being exported, and we are not being able to import blocks. When we have to make a value addition here, we have to import the ready material. So this is quite typical, because these are the countries which are restricted to send their value-added granites. This is something that really needs to be brought to the government's immediate attention. And how do we solve this problem? Because we are having scores of manufacturing hubs over here. We need stones. Okay, but of course, the good quality stones are being exported, and what we are left out is what we have to remain to manufacture all the stones. So this is something that really needs to look about, the import and the export of blocks. Secondly, skill development. Now we need to really actually create a knowledge hub, okay, for our trained and skilled manpower. We buy machines. They are fantastic, locally domestic made machines, manufactured in India, manufactured in China. We're buying from there. We are buying machines manufactured from Italy. But to run them, now we have to either rely on the machine manufacturers. These are the people who give us the pay people to run the machines, or we have to scavenge the talent from here and there. This is what is happening. We really now need an in-house cluster of HR development, where we have trained machine operators, trained line polishing operators, trained bridge cutting machine operators. where this is where really FICSI can help to train the people to run these automatic sophisticated machinery so that we don't have a problem to run them. Because now actually, because we know that the labor is not working very well, the labor have actually graduated, they don't want to come back. So we will nearly need some in-house training development program where FICSI can help and establish people who can actually run these machines. This is something that really needs to look after. I mean, these clusters can come, whether it is in Jalore or Jigni, in Chittor or Chittur, in Bagru or Bengaluru. We need places where we can train people to run these stone manufacturing machineries. Okay, so this is knowledge which is actually denting our industry at the moment. Regarding knowledge, now knowledge of Indian stones. Indian stones have been in the market for a really, really long period of time in any case, but still there is a dearth of information, dearth of knowledge of Indian stones. The architects don't actually specify the stones because the information of most of these stones, we know black and black galaxy and Tambon, but that we know that there are about 500 colors of Indian granites that are available in the market. There are about 400 stones, sandstones, limestones, quartzites, a lot of stones that people actually don't know about. I mean, I have actually, my task is not to sell the stone. My task is most of the times to educate the people about the stones, make them understand what the stones are, what are their properties, then they will try to realize, and then they understand, and then they ask for the color, then they ask for the prices. My fight starts right from educating the people about the stone. So we need to make a stones library. Okay, where we have a Wikipedia type of information, a complete encyclopedia of all the stones that are mined in India and is available. This information should be available to everyone and anyone who needs access to, right? For example, the physical, technical, and technical characteristics, right? I have lost a lot of orders because on demand, it is not available. Physical and technical specifications. This is something that I have discussed a couple of times earlier, where this information should be free for electronic distribution. Okay, more and more architects are now trying to find out the specifications of the stone, whether it will be able for useful for a particular purpose, whether it is going to be good for the hard external landscaping, whether it is going to be good for a particular weathering area, it is going to be good for a high-rise building. What are the characteristics? What is the weathering? What is the weatherproofing? Water absorption characteristics? A lot of things, because information of Indian stones technical specifications is very limited. We should make a table of now. Secondly, because we know that the Chinese stones are being replaced by Indian stones, so we should make a table. Okay, these are the Chinese stones that were worthwhile available, which we were being sold earlier. Now, equivalent of these Chinese stones are these Indian stones. It makes it so easy for us, right? So they have all the businessmen, they have a list of Chinese stones for the projects, and if we are able to produce them a ready reckoner list that these are the Chinese stones and these are the Indian equivalent, immediately, for example, they can start automatically to start this. I just got a point from Aurora ji. This is really good. It takes about $2,000 to $3,000 for making a chemical test report, which is, of course, I have done 15. I have done test reports on 15. Okay, it costs about 45 to 50,000 rupees, of course, because it pays, the project pays for it. But sometimes it's the time. You cannot get a chemical test report within 2 days. It takes about 7 to 10 days. You have to manufacture the stone, you have to give it up for laboratories testing, and then that's what happens. Anyway, so if you can have a ready reckoner list of Indian stones which are equivalent to the Chinese stones, probably this is going to help our marketing in a really, really long way. This is the time that we can put in our effort, because see, I'm telling you, I'm getting lots of projects at the moment which were erstwhile 603, 654, 6. All I'm replacing the Rajasthan stones, and I'm having a ball. I would just want all the other people also to make most of the opportunity. Currently, right now, the big disaster that every exporter is facing now is a container inventory problem. We know that we are going through this big problem. Containers are available. Okay, the ports are flushed with containers, but they are not being given to us. Okay, now the trouble is that the ports are getting privatized. Everything where we are having big infrastructure going on, but probably the entire international business is controlled by these Maersk shipping line, MSC shipping line, HAPEC shipping line, and CMA shipping line, right? If these people are not taking your containers, if these vessels are not calling on your ports, then there's no point on doing as much marketing. Is no problem. These are foreign national carriers. We don't have a good, strong Indian shipping corporation. We don't have our own vessels. We don't have our own mother liners, right? We are actually dependent on all the other foreign national carriers, which can actually control the Indian economy, because if the vessels don't come in, if the exports are not happening, we cannot expect a fair and free balance of trade. No, imports are stopped because it is very easy to tell us, okay, now we are not going to import, we are going to manufacture everything, but it doesn't work that way. Logistics is a give and take. The containers have to take the containers and also give you the containers. Import and export have to work hand in hand. No country can survive without the imports, because otherwise where do you get the inventories from? We have manufacturing stones, we have the stones lying at the port ready for shipment, but the vessels are just not available. The freights have gone from $400 to $800 to $1,200, but that is not going to solve the problem. So unfortunately, we will continue to suffer at the hands of the foreign national carriers as long as we don't have our own Indian national shipping corporation. It is quite bad. Ports are getting privatized, that is fine, but all the shipping lines are foreign, and the vessels from China are not calling at Indian ports. Now, this is the way of the trade war that we are going through. Ships are coming from China, not calling at Indian ports, going via Colombo, and just having all our containers shut out, and they're going to the Gulf. So this, I don't know how long it's going to carry for. So these are a few of the points that I really wanted to come across with. And yes, that's it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. It was nice.
Thank you, Sakti. I think you have brought in quite a few points. To start with, you said the demand has increased. That's nice to hear. But you spoke about the raw material problem, that
Yes.
good blocks are being exported and the import of block is not allowed. The FICSI has been continuously with the Commerce Ministry for allowing import of granite blocks also, just like marble blocks. So it should happen, I think, sooner than later. And why good blocks are being exported, that is the market dynamics. So wherever you get the higher price, you sell there, right? So
Yes,
whatever we have always been advocating the governments that it should be a free market. The blocks should be exported freely. The blocks should be imported freely.
Exactly.
So the market will decide what is to be exported, what is to be imported. So you leave it to the market. Let's allow the
I
market.
understand.
So then you spoke about the trained operators and all that. Yes, training program, FICSI is always there. Last 6 months, we couldn't do much because of the pandemic. Definitely we'll start it as soon as possible. In fact, yesterday I had a meeting, I had a call from FIMI's skill division. They are volunteering to come up and help us. I'll speak with the President Saab. So we'll take it forward, I think, as soon as possible. So that training program will start everywhere, all over the country we can do that. And that is really going to help the industry. So you spoke about the stone library, it's a good idea, which we already have in our websites and all that. About 300-400 varieties are already there, but we need to keep on adding the new varieties that keep coming to the market, which you need to give it to us. Okay? Yeah. And regarding the technical specification, I think Sahil has also mentioned. So thank you so much for your points. Thank you. Now moving on, can I request Vikas Kothari is there? I'll request him to come back. Mr. Vikas Kothari, are you there? Yeah. Vikas, can you switch on your audio?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. You can give your presentation now.
Yeah, good morning, sir. First of all, I would like to thank our president and other office bearers for inviting me to this webinar on issues related to industry post-COVID. As you all know, COVID pandemic has severely impacted the trade and commerce across all industries, but fortunately, our industry is not so affected, as we saw demand picking up from all corners of the world immediately after the lockdown. There was a sudden rush of orders from everywhere, but unfortunately, we were not able to fulfill these requirements due to shortage of good raw materials. I think many quarries are still closed due to various reasons like shortage of laborers for recoveries and all that stuff. So raw material has been a very big problem, and we were just buying slabs here and there just to fulfill our orders. Apart from this, one more issue that we are facing currently is, like everyone said, the shortage of containers, shortage of equipment at the port. So I think this is due to low volume of imports. And I think it's going to remain some time, because imports are going to be under stress for some time because of poor domestic demand. So I'm not sure how as an industry we have to handle this, but if we can approach the concerned ministry or someone who can give guidelines to these shipping lines to maintain at least adequate inventories at the port. As far as GST refunds are concerned, refunds are coming now perfectly. So there are no issues of refunds at the moment. But one more procedural hassle that we are facing is with regard to annexures for imports. So every time we import, we have to get the annexures from our jurisdictional DC office, which is at Coimbatore, which is 300 kilometers away. So at this point of time, where the cases are COVID cases are rising, even the staff are reluctant to go every time there to get the annexures. So we have to just figure out, we have to approach customs if they can come out with some solution to this issue, either by way of issuing the annexures online or giving yearly annexure at once. So as far as labors are concerned, we had some small gap where there was a problem of labor, but now everything is back to normal and there is no such labor issues as of now.
That's it?
That's
okay.
it, sir.
Thank you, Vikas. I think once again, you also mentioned, like others, the demand has picked up. Very heartening to hear. Shortage of raw material, of course, is a common problem. Labor shortage, yes, I think all we'll have to wait patiently for things to improve. As in when the pandemic settles down, I think things will come back to normalcy. But you mentioned, you and others also mentioned about the containers. We'll see what we can do about it. We'll definitely write to Government of India and see what we can do about it. Thank you so much. Moving on, I'll request Aditya Rathi from Lavina Granites Jigani to kindly present his views. Mr. Rathi, are you ready? Okay, it seems he's gone out.
He was there, sir, in the morning.
Yeah, he's online, but he is not. Mr. Aditya Rathi, can you come online? Okay, I'll request Mr. Sandeep Jalan to make his presentation then, in the meanwhile. Mr. Sandeep.
Hello and good morning to everybody.
Yeah.
So first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Iskandar Ji and Mr. Prasad for inviting me to the webinar. And I would just like to correct a little.
Your audio is not very clear. Mr. Sandeep, your audio is not very clear.
Hello. Is it clear now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So for Ishwardhan Singh Ji, I'm not his critic. He is a very dynamic president and everything is going fine. My only concern is that leaving such an organization for the future generations to come, so that we behave in such a way they will copy us. Every son copies their father. So we should not be leaving any stone unturned to make it the most principled, valued organization in the country and the world. So going with it, I would like to bring some of the things what all my colleagues have already brought in, that there is a shortage of labor, shortage of container. These two are the most affecting our industry. But to be most fortunate, we are having good orders. All the other industries are really reeling under a lot of pressure. Some may not even see the light tomorrow morning. That's the situation. Now, how FIXI can help us with more, not help us, in fact, help the industry, or we can do the vice versa. The first point is the labors. If we can arrange the labors coming back to the industrial areas, whoever has gone back, getting them confidence, getting their policies done, coaxing the owners to get the medical policies. So it makes a confidence building measure amongst them. So that can be one of the reasons that how we can, because we cannot just wait that when the pandemic, yesterday the cases were 96,000. I don't know whether it will go to 1 lakh, 1 lakh 25, 1 lakh 50. So we have to do something so that the labor force returns to normalcy. That is the first point. The second point is the containers. Now, how we can force or coax the government to container issues is again a major concern. If we have containers, we can, I am sure all my colleagues will have the same thought with me, that whatever turnovers we are having now, it can minimum can, if not double, at least 50% extra can be done. Everybody is running 50% short of their capacity just because of non-availability of containers. This is the second point. So both the things, individually we cannot do anything. It is only an umbrella, our parents, what you can say, the FIXI, the All India umbrella that can help us with arranging the containers. We can be very well poised to help the country having a good surplus foreign exchange in that case. Now the third point will be the infrastructure development. Like everybody is saying that we are having a rush from the Chinese, from the customers who used to be with the Chinese now turning to India. Now we very well know that what amount of Chinese people have the infrastructure with them. They are having small machinery, which is hardly 20% of the Italian cost. Each and every, they are having a very skilled labor force, all mechanized, means their people are robots. They are not human beings. You just program them and they do the work. So that type of skilled labors are not here. Thirdly, the government support. Whenever we do something, you have to have these permissions, those permissions, pollution permissions, all those things, which we get stuck and then nobody wants to get into a new venture. I see a light for our umbrella organization, FIXI, to step in here and set up some basic infrastructure in clusters, like Udaipur is a cluster, Jaipur is a cluster, Hosur is a cluster. For example, Tab India, Arrow, Mr. Zaki, he can have orders of like 50 containers or 100 containers of project, but his capacity may be 10 containers or 5 containers for doing that project. So if we have a common shared infrastructure, see, there is always an ego issue, all these things amongst, it's a human tendency. But if that shared facility can be provided by an umbrella organization, then anybody can go there and get their work done. That's just a thought. I don't know how feasible it will be. Because any project company, they hardly are able to use, pre-COVID, not even 50% of their installed capacity on a year-on-year basis. If I'm wrong, please correct me, Mr. Zaki. So that infrastructure development can really poise us as a great challenge to the Chinese projects. We don't have infrastructure, nobody trusts us. If there is an infrastructure, maybe 50 containers for TAB, maybe 20 containers for Arrow, so maybe SK, whatever. There are some, put together, we don't have more than 200 containers a month. Whereas in China, each and every factory has more than 50 to 100 containers of project capacity. So that how we can look into it, that's a major concern for me. Now, the second point is the next where FIXI can step in is that in Brazil, what we have come across, that if anybody's money is stuck anywhere, their organization helps them in sharing the information with each other. That information may be correct and information may be wrong. That the organizations takes pains in understanding whether the material supplied was bad quality, that's why the customer is not paying, or whether the customer has taken our supplier for a ride. So if you get anybody's payment stuck there in Brazil, you don't get material from that country. So what kind of an infrastructure we can develop in India so that we don't get into these traps, bad debt traps. I don't want to share my customer base with my friend as well as my competitor. But if Fixi has got a infrastructure where they have got the informations that who's paying, what is the disputes that has happened between the two people, why things, and they can just put up their statement comments there. They don't want to say that, okay, the supplier was wrong or the buyer was wrong. But if you're not paying on time, if you're delaying it, everybody comes to know about that information and can take their call accordingly. This is a thing where because already our margins are stuck like 4-5%, 10, maximum 6-7%. And if that even 1% or 2% of our exports or our turnover gets into these contentious issues, then we don't make any money. Another 20% you have to pay as government taxes. So you're left with nothing, and then you try to do all these ulta sida kaam. So this is another one issue which we can take up on the main platform area. And then there is an anti-China sentiment. We all know about it. What we can do, like each country has got a council in all the countries. In the same way, we can have an ordinary council in the countries which are coming up, like for example, small countries, African countries, Brazil means Cambodia or Mexico, all these countries, they are smaller ones, which is not possible for us, each and every person to go there or have exhibitions. So there, if anybody comes and asks for people, exporters from India, they can easily have one leaflet or one report having all the exporters' name from India, their ratings or whatever CRISIL ratings provided therein, so that it becomes easy for those countries to trust the suppliers from India. Because see, to be very frank, India is not among those trustworthy countries. To be frank, it is not like European. If you tell a European, a German, he will deliver. But in India, we have people who don't deliver on time or who do not take proper care in the quality, who take advances and then maybe don't show up. So those things can be curtailed if Fixi takes a step forward to getting all these things refined. This will give a good reputation to the export community in the country and will increase the exports. That everybody will benefit from it. So these are some of the points which I think that post-COVID, as we will not be able to travel, we will not be able to come in personal contacts with each other, we will not be able to shake hands with each other physically. So virtual shake hands is the most important thing of the time. We have to see that how maximum we can shake hands with each other virtually, because physically it's not possible for another maybe a year or so. So that's all right. Others, all the people have said everything. We have got good orders, we have got good supplies, things are moving, and we are fortunate. We should thank God that we got this, we are into this business, that we are not crying. Thanks.
Good.
Thanks a lot.
Very nice to hear. Nice to hear. And we have made a note of all your points that you have mentioned. We'll definitely take care of it. If the other gentleman has come back, we can move on to him. Yes, Aditya Rathi, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes. I'm ready.
Yes.
Morning to everyone.
And we are ready to hear you now.
Thank you very much.
Please go ahead.
Morning to everyone. I'm Aditya. I'm from Lavina Granites. Basically, I want to highlight majority of the points everyone has already covered. Zaki sir, Sandeep Bhaiya, everybody has covered all those points. 2-3 points I want to add on to, as Zaki sir also said, Sandeep Bhaiya also said, and Sahil has also pointed out, skill development, which is most important, as we want to get more and more into projects, and we want to compete, or we want to replace China as the world factory. So in pursuit of that, we need to skill our laborers to use more sophisticated machineries, which is right now creating a very big havoc, because a person who is going to invest in crores for a particular machinery and ultimately giving it in the hand of unskilled labor, means buying one machinery and paying for two. It is like that. So skill development is most important, and centers like Rajasthan, North India is one sector. South may we have Bangalore, which is the main area, and Ongole. Now, Ongole also is a big sector where it can have a skill development individually for it. Second point is logistics, again, which has been already highlighted right now, which is creating a whole sum of problem. As Zaki sir told, Chinese, they have their own lines. And top lines, let's say in the top 5 lines, Chinese are 3. So, the chances of we surviving is creating a problem here. Then third thing which I want to highlight, being post-COVID, pre-COVID, there are certain things which are going on in market. Earlier, Egypt was a very good market. It is still a very good market, but people have spoiled that market because of all those underbilling, under invoicing, which is going on in the market. And which is creating a problem for example, if I have a customer and after hearing about all those things in the market, he calls me up, oh, why aren't you doing it for me? I have import duty, I have this, I have that. Ultimately, it ends up, I have to lose that customer. Same thing is happening in Asian market as well. And there are certain there are certain exporters who are doing those practices. I feel FICCI should take it up and we should collectively present it and we should stop it, because it is not a fair practice. It is creating a problem in the market. Ultimately, our name will be spoiled. It will not be the client who will be in a problem. It will be our industry which will be in problem. So that seriously needs to be addressed. And second thing, in our particular stone industry, majority, I feel 90 to 95% is MSME. So the most affected is MSME. In matter of support from government, we don't have such support. See, now as we know that market demand has shifted from China to India, all the world is eyeing that we should have at least one vendor in India, or we should have supply from India. That is what I am experiencing right now from past 3 months. I'm getting new customers daily who are buying from China, but they want to shift to India. Now, in order to match with, match with the competition with Chinese, we are not getting government support in that manner. The MSME is not getting government support. For example, we can say Chinese people, Chinese processor, they were getting support from Chinese government in form of electricity. We have fixed charges. If you are not running your factory, fixed charges. There should not be any fixed charges. Then you have this GST, electricity, GST on your electricity, you cannot claim all those things. These are small bits, small expenses, which add to your cost. Interest subsidies. MSME in Rajasthan, I still think there is some interest subsidy for new units, but overall in other industries also, we are in spinning as well. But so in spinning, we have 5% interest subsidies. So all those things collectively will help you to bring down your costs and compete with the other countries, so that India can become, world factory. That's one of the point we should take up. State government should support us in this manner. We are not getting any such support. Means people were telling labor intensive. Granite, natural stone is also one of the most labor intensive work. Labor is, I guess Mr. Ashwin can understand how important labor is. So everyone knows labor is much important. So skill of the labor, then getting proper labor is again a problem. Transportation, all this under invoicing, all these, collectively they create a problem for the industry. So my again conclusion would be 2-3 points which everybody has said. I have just added one point, that is the fair play on the ground. doing neat practice, clear practices that will be better for our industry and for our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya. I think you have brought in certain new points. One is skill development, of course, sector-wise. FIXI commitment is there. We are going to do it. There's no two questions about it. And you mentioned about underbilling and under-invoicing. I think that's a very untrade practice. We from FIXI would condemn it, such things, whether it is in the mining sector or in the processing sector or any sector, any untrade practices, okay, would be totally condemned. We would advise our members not to be involved in such kind of activities. It's going to bring a bad name not only to your company, to our country, to FIXI, everybody. And this is not going to last for long. We all know that. You know, these kind of activities will always, they are shortcut activities, will not be there for a long time. So we have to condemn it with no uncertain terms. Then you said that a lot of orders are shifting from China. Very nice to hear that. Then you are talking of small incentives for the MSME sector. I don't know whether you participated. Yesterday we had a meeting with the Minister of State for MSME. We are giving a full-fledged memorandum to him. We will include all these issues. I'm very sure that Government of India will help us in this, because government is also pitching for Atmanirbhar Bharat, as we all know. So let's be hopeful on that. So FIXI will put up all these issues. Then I think we have come to the end of it. President Sir, would you like to add anything?
Mr. Veeramani is there. Let him have his sum up. Let
Would
Mr.
like to give
Veeramani
a-
also say for 5-6 minutes. Sir.
Veeramani sir,
Sir,
would you like to?
thank you very much. It's one of the best program. Very interesting, dynamic, promising, quite encouraging. And the future is here.
Yes.
All the young gentlemen.
Correct.
And they are passionately involved in the stone industry. Unless you have a heart and soul to the stone industry, you cannot do anything.
Very nice
And
to
we all-
see.
Yes, and I'm seeing that this is a very good promising future for the
Yes.
industry and for the respective companies.
Yes.
And we fully understand. We
Sir,
are not
one basic thing I can tell you. Sorry to interrupt. From the older generation, the younger generation have spoken very much positively. I'm really very happy to say the younger
That's what-
generation is very positive, and they're looking in the next, in the coming years. They see a very positive trend for the stone industry. Very, very heartening to know. So please continue.
See, the whole point is, after Italy, which was the #1 world stone center, we thought India could emerge as a #2 center, or even taking over that. But we couldn't do that, and China has taken over. So that's a big mistake, that our policies were not conducive at that time. I'm saying this in 1990 to 2000, and we were not so positive. And we need to match. Please enumerate 1 by 1, 2, 3 like that, the policies that we need to match with China and other international countries. Even yesterday I said that whenever a policy is informed here, let it be mining or exporting or anything or a drawback, it should meet the international standards. Let us study about 10 countries and say this one, like that. And undoubtedly the electricity and the infrastructure, the wonderful things are only in China, not with us. And luckily, now the container problem also has started, because containers are not coming, therefore no containers are available for moving. And another thing is the freight rate. See from China, whether it goes to West Coast or East Coast or anywhere, it is cheaper than India. So therefore, when we need to match that, how do we match that? Then again, taking the containers of Container Corporation. Why? Which country is doing that? Export oriented, we should not straight away from the factory ceiling, it should go to the ship. That's it. So all these things are very important. And as you all put it, we must make it the international trade when importing and exporting of any material for us regarding stone. That is most important for us to emerge stronger and encourage this young team to become world leaders. I'm looking not only Indian leaders, though I want them to be world leaders. That's what we look for. And small things will not help. There need to be a big thrust to take off like a flight taking off for the stone industry. And friends, I am very puzzled. How come this under-invoicing question comes? Why? What do they do? So I feel we should not discuss at all this issue. Please, we should advise privately, and we should refrain from all these things. And why they do it? What is the benefit they are doing it? Import, there's no big duty for UOUs and all that. There's no big duty. For import of blocks, and maybe for blocks, other people importing, there may be some duties. So therefore, we should be very careful about it. Even one person doing it, something comes, the media makes it bigger, and completely they dismember, or I would say they make a big postmortem of kill the industry and make a postmortem of everybody. So therefore, we should refrain from all that. There will be complaint, there will be always there. We should do that, and we should see that the funding cost is competitive. That is first, and we should really get it. There are many promises. There are so many help and all that coming from the government, but it's not effectively coming really. So that's all, sir. And training the workers, the skill development, proper quality standards for the people. We cannot match with the Italy, or we cannot match with the Chinese. Chinese are definitely more advanced than us, right? So we appreciate everybody. Wonderful, Mr. President, Secretary, everybody, wonderfully done. Very well, carry on. We will cooperate on whatever role you want us. Right, sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All the best. Bye.
President Saab, should we close with the word of thanks?
We close up. We have taken the views of Sandeep Sapte. We have taken it down.
Yeah.
Common cheesing, mostly the things are common only. We'll take it up with the government, and we'll be able to meet only after 3 or 4 months. So till then, we'll keep on doing it. Right? Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you. All the best. Thank you so much. I really feel great.
Yes, all of you.
I'd like
Thanks a lot.
Yes, Mr. Sandeep, you are saying something.
Yeah, I was just thanking everybody that it's given us a good chance. It has made us a new people. Everybody's new, sir. There's something different in life. All these 40, 50 years, we are living a different life. Now there is a different life.
True.
Same goes with the business also. The way we were conducting business pro-COVID was totally different pre-COVID. Now post-COVID, it is totally different. It is like helping each other out, like we are helping our family members, our wife. We never thought that we'll be washing dishes at home. We will be cleaning the home. We are doing that. The same way we have to help our colleagues also, help our, the industry can help each other to get out of this problem with flying colors. Thank you.
Good, very good.
I'd like to once again thank our founder president for giving his words of experience, wisdom, and everything to the youngsters. Thanking our president, and also thanking all our speakers, Sahil Arora from Arrow Granites, Vikas Kothari from Maradar Stones, Ashwin Ramaswamy from Aman Granites, Aditya Rati from Lavina Granites, Zaki Chakiwala from Quality Marbles, Sandeep Jalan from Sati Stones. Thank you one and all. Thank you all the participants who have been with us today. Thank you very much. Thank you once again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you a lot, sir. Namaste.
Close.